battle is not just spiritual alone, it's also mental, it's also technological, it's also sensual. The reason is because when men don't have spiritual understanding, they will be swayed and their soul will be lost. And when their souls are lost, some of the men that will be lost may be the men that should have represented the human race. Imagine if Abraham was lost. And it's not only Abraham that will be in the council of the elders that represent humanity. These are matters beyond time. So when the devil is fighting, it's not just about food to eat. It's about an inheritance that is to come. It's about something that is bigger than time. It's about an era that is imminent. And because he has seen it, darkness is mobilizing forces. As I speak to you now, there are spirits that are coming into the earth from the waters. As I speak to you now, there are spirits that are coming into the earth from the underworld. And you think it's a joke, go to the book of Revelation. A frog came out of the sea, and when the frog opened his mouth, demons were coming out of it. The reason is because there is a need for spiritual resuscitation in the demonic realm. The battle is climaxing, so you need more demons, you need more princes on the earth to deceive men and to lure them from the agenda of God. This is why every technology you see now is about an attack on the soul structure. They are selling razor blade. It's a naked woman that is advertising it. Why is it so? Because the operation of this age hinges on the soul. When God created the spirit of man, the Bible said he breathed into the man became a living soul. If you destroy the soul of the man is lost in eternity. And so the attack is to ensure that the soul of man is lost and lost forever. The phones that were created, when the intelligence came, it looked as if it came to improve communication. But the last thing we do with phone now is communication. The phone has become another world. All the pornography is on the phone. They are trying to create a virtual world now, where you literally leave the visible realm and live in a world that is not natural. And they control that world. And that is not even the height of what they are doing. There are intelligences going on now in a bid to improve health. And they are beginning to modify the soul structure of men. Genetic engineering. They are encoding men with chips. You don't need to use a phone to make a call. They plant the chip in your body, and the chip regulates you, and you become a hybrid being. You are man and machine. So instead of being regulated by your soul, which is connected to the Holy Ghost, you are now regulated by a machine. They are talking about improving human intelligence, and they are planting chips on men. And that chip determines how you think. That chip determines your judgment. And men are giving billions of dollars to sponsor it, because they claim when this is done, the advantage is anti-aging. The advantage is absence of sickness. The advantage is the ability to do everything we do in a very simplistic format. But that is a lie. It's a deception. Because they have known that we have been disconnected from our heritage. And now that we have been disconnected from our heritage, they are giving us something else to substitute for our heritage. Because in the glory, men don't fall sick. But because the glory is lost, you need to give them another technology that improves their head. So at the end of the day, we would have departed from the glory, never to return. When the machine is planted in your head and the sequence is activated, the machine can make you feel that sex is a simple way of showing love, and sex is just a way of exercise. And because that machine now dominates your mind, you will see sex, premarital sex, as a means of exercise. And because that is how you interpret it, your conscience will not see anything wrong with it. And your conscience indeed would have been seared with a hot iron. And the reason you will receive it is because they tell you when you have it, you will anti-age. Your cells will be replenished. And when you see the way cancer is killing people, when you see the way diabetes is killing people, when you see the way men are afflicted, if you see something that improves the health of man, why won't you take it? You will take it because you think it's to improve humanity. But behind the scene, the demon that is orchestrating that wisdom is doing it to detach you from God that you worship. And a time comes, after a long while, you will no longer know anything about God. You will no longer know anything about the kingdom, because you have been brainwashed and you have been lured away. But the reason the world will accept this is because the church have not been able to bring the glory. If the church presents the glory, there will be no need for robots. If the church brings the glory, there will be no need for chips for anti-aging. If the church brings the glory, there will be no need, because Isaiah chapter 4 verse 1, it said, in the last day, it said, the mountain of the Lord's house shall be in the house of God. And he said, men of all nations shall run into it and say, teach us the ways of God. The reason is because the church is supposed to be the only solution of the world. But when the glory is lost, men will have no choice but to look for help from another sources. And because they are looking for help from another sources, other alien reality will be imported into their soul. What I'm telling you today may look strange to you, but these are normal realities currently going on in the Western world. And because we are controlled by the internet now, everybody is educated by the Western world. Your children of 13 years know more than you know. The cartoons they are watching, they are not watching boring programs, the type you show them in children's school. It's not what you show them in children's Bible study that they are watching in the cartoon. You bring them to children's Bible study and you are telling them dead stories without a show and a proof of the glory. And the moment they look at the cartoon, they see aliens that fly. They see aliens that operate with superhuman body ability. So every time you come into the parlor, they are jumping on the chair, because the alien is their role model. When you call Jesus, they say, who is he? Because you cannot show the glory of the kingdom. And because you cannot show the glory, they will look for another kind of glory. And the glory have been wired into the cartoon to re-educate their minds, to reprogram their minds. Most of the cartoons you watch now, they are gay expressions in those cartoons. And your children of 9 years know everything about gay. And as they are looking at it, every day is reprogramming their thinking faculty, that it is normal for a woman to love a woman and for a man to love a man. They also know that a man has the right to change his genitals and become anything he wants to be. And then you bring them to church, sit them down and tell them to sing a song. You sit them down and you are reading ancient stories that you cannot validate to them. The more you do it, the more church becomes boring to them. And they want to run out of church and go and see Nickelodeon. And as they are seeing Nickelodeon, they are seeing beasts living with men. Because they are teaching them what will happen. That very soon, beasts will live with men. You are the only one who is not aware that aliens are already entering the earth realm. Your children already know that it is natural for beasts to live with men. Check all the cartoons they are watching. Beasts, aliens are living with men at the same time. And now their minds have been prepared for the war to come. Meanwhile, you are here quoting scripture without a manifestation of the glory. We are here doing religion about church without understanding what is at stake. The glory must be returned if we will be able to colonize the world. What Adam lost was not a religion. What Adam lost was not money. When you read Genesis chapter 1, there were 5 things God gave Adam. Number 1, he gave him his image. That is his glory. He said, let us make man in our image. Number 2, he gave him his likeness. That is his way of life. Number 3, he gave him his authority. Let them have dominion. Number 4, he gave him fellowship. In the cool of the day, the voice of God came walking in the garden. And number 5, he intended to give him his life, because he planted the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the garden, and he also planted the tree of life in the garden. The things Adam lost are not the things we are pursuing. We are pursuing cars. We are pursuing excellence. We are pursuing money. Whereas the world is using the same thing we are pursuing to deceive us, so that we will lose our true inheritance. And so I told you, a conference like this is not a conference of God, bless me with money. A conference like this is a conference of God. What did I lose that made me become a normal man? Because you didn't create me to be a normal man. You created me to be a manifestation of the divine. You created me to be an expression of God. You created me to be a visible manifestation of the divine dimension. What is it I lost that have made me become a normal man? And as you are pressing, you are looking for that thing that is. The moment you lay hold on it, you can begin to sing a song and somebody is receiving an impartation. You are singing a song, somebody is receiving a revelation. You are singing a song, somebody is receiving a vision. You are singing a song, somebody is receiving wisdom. And the wisdom you sang becomes the wisdom that led to a witty invention. Because you are not singing a song, you are conducting the glory of God. You have found what you lost. This is why we gather together, that we remind ourselves the things that we lost and fight to reclaim it. The battle of reclaiming the things that are lost is what we call the travail of rebirth. We are not praying and pressing just to prosper. I told us yesterday, if it's about prosperity, then Elon Musk alone is enough to handle the problem of the church in Gombe. But God forbid that what we are looking for is mundane. God forbid that what we are looking for is what the sons of the heathen can give to us casually. What we are looking for is what the world herself have never seen. This is why it said the earnest expectation of creation waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. When you get that in, every other thing becomes a byproduct. And I told us yesterday, one of the ways to route this glory is suffering. When you begin to suffer for the sake of Christ, you will discover that these things begin to break out of your spirit. And we took time to exhaustively look at it this morning. And tonight, I came to let you know the second way to route this glory. Because you cannot remain like this. If you remain like this, if you end up with $1 million, you are still poor. Because your true value cannot be calculated by money. When you find your value, money will be attracted to you. But much more than money, there is something you have that money can't buy. This is why we press for the glory. If what defines us are cars, we are in trouble. But when we find what God has put in us, cars will come as byproducts. Companies will come as byproducts. Finances will come as byproducts. But those things don't judge us. Because when you take those things away, we are still more than conquerors. Because we made those things, we make it again.